Hey everyone, it's Luke. I just want to go over something a little. I've gone through YouTube lately, and people have argued that Aang isn't as powerful as people make him out to be because they claim that Aang at 25 in the Avatar Aang movie was his prime, and the fact that the writers decided to nerf him shows that Aang wasn't really powerful. They even nerfed the Avatar state, which didn't make sense because in the original Avatar series, Aang's Avatar state was beyond monstrous. Like you could feel the aura, the power, just like spiritual energy just like exploding out of him when he went into the Avatar state at age 12. So the fact that they took away that aura, that intensity in this movie and made his Avatar state no different from like Korra's. Like Korra used her Avatar state just to simply boost her attacks. Like she even used her Avatar state as a freaking crutch for moments that the Avatar state was not needed. Like moments when Korra used her Avatar state are like moments that Aang would have done without the Avatar state. Now, just so with that out of the way, I want to say that 25-year-old Aang from the Avatar Aang movie, that's not his prime. Aang at 40 years old in the Legend of Korra flashbacks is his prime. And trust me when I say the amount of power we saw in that flashback against Yacome, that I don't even think that was even Aang using the full extent of his power, even when he would enter the Avatar state to break free from bloodbending. That I don't think that was even his full power. So this is why I argue that Prime Aang, the real Prime Aang at age 40, is not only Aang's strongest, is not just Aang at his strongest. I personally think that Prime Aang is the strongest Avatar. Now, people might argue, well, what about Korra? At this point, Korra is not even coming close. Like, sure, if you want to argue like a close match, giving Korra an edge against Aang when he was 12, sure. If you say that Korra still has an edge victory against 25-year-old Aang, which doesn't really make sense because even though his Avatar state was nerfed, the output of his attacks were stronger. So, no. But if you want to believe that, sure. But there's no way that Korra would have been able to defeat Prime Aang. Yet, I don't even think a Prime Korra could defeat Prime Aang. The closest Avatar that even comes close to Prime Aang is Prime Kyoshi, and I don't even think Prime Kyoshi defeats Prime Aang. Because let's face it, Prime Aang just has the strongest Avatar state, like, ever. Like, if you watch the series and go through it, let's see, like you saw the Avatar state from Kyoshi, from Kuruk, from Roku. Now, I guess you can argue Roku's Avatar state in the Fire Temple was pretty powerful, but people still rank Roku as like what the weakest, like the second weakest Avatar after Wan. Don't know why. Like I'm even willing to go through a ranking of the avatars in my own personal opinion of how I would rank the 7 known avatars. But that's not what this video is talking about. This is me defending Prime Aang. Because overall, yes, I get it. Aang messed up in his solo Avatar movie. I get that. He messed up. And I've heard comments of people saying, well, Aang, it's no fair to slander Korra since Aang actually messed up really bad when it came to Taga. No, it didn't. Like, if you actually watched the movie, like seriously, have anyone actually watched the movie? Because I honestly think the storyline matches Aang's character perfectly. He is the last air nomad. Even at 25, he still feels that burden of being the last one. Now, the fact that they decided to nerf him, like, he gets injured by the Denied, and then he struggles to lift up a tower, which, to be honest, is kind of ridiculous considering that in the Avatar comics, which I believe are canon, Avatar Aang, where he was still, like, what, 12, 13, however old he was able to earthbend the entire Earth kingdom of Ba Sing Se. Which, honestly, was insane. Not to mention that Avatar Aang at age 12 also defeated, what was his name? Lord Iron or something like that? The same spirit that Yang Chen also defeated. Although, to be fair, did Yang Chen really defeat Lord Iron? Because from what I could saw from the comic, Aang... No, yes, Aang did have a little help with, like, his friends and some earth and some metal benders to help take away the armor where Yang Chen basically soloed. But the fact is that, well, Yang Chen took down Lord Iron, Aang just straight up shot a giant hole through the spirit's chest, killing him. Now, yes, I know that the whole thing is that Aang doesn't kill because he's a pacifist and he believes that all life is sacred. But to be honest, there are moments in the show where Aang does kill and he doesn't show any kind of remorse for that death because it's justified. Also, there is one feat I want to compare. I could save this for my Aang versus Korra debate video, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Like, you know what? No, I'm gonna save that for later. But overall, I just hate that people keep downgrading Aang, believing that Aang from the Avatar Aang Last Airbender movie is his prime, and that the fact that he was nerfed shows that he isn't one of the strongest avatars. But the fact that him at age 12 in his avatar state against Firelord Ozai appears stronger than Avatar State Aang versus Taga just is ridiculous. And then they say, oh, okay, let's give him the Spirit Staff to amp him up, to make him more powerful than his Avatar State against Firelord Ozai. Like, I get it, Taga's powerful, but did the writers really have to tank, like, nerf Aang and his team just to hype up Taga? I don't agree with that. And also, I think I might even do a comparison video between Taga and Zahir, which I think would be pretty cool. Another thing I want to say about the Avatar movie is that while I love the storyline, I love the presentation, I love, like, the animation, the fights, whatever. I just hated, my only one argument is how badly they decided to nerf Aang and his team. Like, think about it. Toph constantly claims that she's the strongest earthbender in the world. Katara is a waterbending master and freaking prodigy. Then we have freaking Firelord Zuko. Like, but in their final battle against the Denied, they have them struggle. And then as soon as Katara ran out of water, she was like, I'm out. I'm useless now. And the fact that the Denied soldiers were able to just solo Zuko, I'm sorry. That just doesn't make sense. Like, how can you say that, like, early on in the movie, Katara freaking split the ocean like freaking Moses from the Bible, but then in the Bible, she struggles to do basic water bending. Well, she doesn't struggle with, she basically uses basic water bending against the Denied, runs out of water, and then makes the excuse, says, I'm out of water, now I'm useless. Like, it makes no sense. Now, Toph, I don't want to slander too much, because Toph is one of the most popular characters. Like out of the rest of Team Avatar, like Zuko and Katara, like she's the only one who actually put up a better fight. Like she actually used actual battle IQ and strategy and earthbending techniques, which I think were cool. Why she wears the metal armor, I have no idea, but it does look pretty cool. But then again, there is like Sokka, who didn't even like. Oh wait, I wanted to mention him using his sword, but I forgot that at the end of Avatar: Last Airbender, he lost his sword and never retrieved it. And so instead of actually fighting, because Sokka is actually a skilled fighter, at the end of the original series, he decides to use his new invention, which is a flying bike, to use that against the Denied, which actually shows off how intelligent Sokka really is. Like, I love how in the series that at the beginning of the series they treat Sokka like a complete joke, but then it's like by the end of the series when he matures up and shows a little more like maturity and acts more like a serious fighter. It's insane. Like, okay, so I'm sorry, what is the point of this video again? Oh, right, I'm supposed to be defending Prime Aang. Which I think I technically was doing by basically explaining how claiming that a nerfed 25-year-old Aang is not Prime Aang. Like, think about... Okay, so I want to say this. Compare 25-year-old Aang to 40-year-old Aang, and you will see why I think that Aang from the Legend of Korra flashbacks is Prime Aang. So I mentioned Avatar Aang throughout his movie, how he struggled against Togga, and basically nerfed everything he does. But then you see that in the Legend of Korra flashbacks, during the whole thing with Yakom, he breaks free from bloodbending, chases after him on a giant air scooter. Like you know how big the original air scooter was? Instead of like sitting on it and riding it, the dude was surfing the giant orb, and that was pretty cool. He slices the carriage with an air blade, and then when Yakom puts him into the Avatar state, puts him into, like, uses bloodbending on Aang, he breaks free, enters the Avatar state, releasing a huge, like, surge of wind, showing the same kind of aura and intensity as 12-year-old Aang had. I would even argue more so. Just easily just showing why Aang was so powerful. And then he used energy bending to take away Yakom's bending. So, yeah. I mean, what else can I say about Prime Aang here? Is there really anything else I can really say? I mean... No, I don't think I can. Well, I mean... Actually, there is one more thing I can say about Prime Aang, and just to let you know, Prime Aang is 40-year-old Aang from the flashbacks, not the 25-year-old Aang. So, it was actually revealed in the Korra series that the reason why the Red Lotus waited until Korra is because the freaking Red Lotus was freaking terrified of Prime Aang. They were terrified of Aang. I can't remember, but I think Zahir himself even admitted that if they fought Prime Aang, that they would have gotten destroyed. Now I've seen videos where people argue, can Aang take on Korra's villains? But I hate for the fact that every time people compare Aang to Korra, it's always 12-year-old Aang. I hate that. Like, if you really want to compare them, they should compare Korra to at least 25-year-old Aang, who, even though is nerfed, I still think is stronger than Korra. But even without saying that, I don't know, like, Prime Aang is just ridiculously overpowered from what I have seen and from comments, and I don't even think that what we saw from Prime Aang in the Legend of Korra flashback was actually him using his full power. Because, let's face it, if he actually went full-on Avatar state, then that would be insanely, like, crazy. Like, we've seen what Avatar Aang in his Avatar state looked like when he got serious against Ozai. Like, the whole, like, air orb with the other 3 elements surrounding him like rings, like he's a freaking planet. Not to mention, in the new movie, when he got the spirit staff, it supercharged his Avatar state and practically turned him into a spirit energy god. Which basically made him the strongest character in the entire Avatar universe for like 5 minutes. Until he destroyed the staff. So. Yeah. Until he destroyed the staff. Like. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say here. Like, I think I pretty much made my point. That it is Aang versus, like, the flashback version is Prime Aang, not 25-year-old. I don't even know what else to say right here. I'm just rambling at this point. Let's see. I can't really think of any more references. Oh, wait. I did think of something. I even looked this up to make sure that was true. So, people argue that Korra is the strongest, but because she has Prime Rava. But I looked it up, and it turns out that the lion turtles are actually more powerful than Rava. More powerful than Prime Rava. And guess who has the power of the lion turtles? Freaking Aang. Prime Aang, in my opinion, is basically the equivalent to a lion turtle, which is arguably one of, if not the most powerful creature in the entire Avatar universe. So basically, think about it this way. Korra is Prime Rava. Aang is the lion turtle. The lion turtle is more powerful than Rava. So by that comparison, Aang is more powerful than Korra. And, you know, one thing that kind of bothers me is the whole, like, power system of the Avatar state, is that when the next Avatar is born, they are supposed to become more powerful than the previous life. But I don't really think that is really true. Because one example I can think of that basically breaks that theory. Like, for example, the example I'm going to use, I'm sorry, I'm losing my thought, but the avatar I'm going to use for example is Avatar Kyoshi. Avatar Kyoshi is arguably, like, what? People argue that she is the most powerful avatar with Aang either being second or third. And the fact is that he was the Avatar before Roku. So by that logic, Roku should be more powerful than Kyoshi, right? Wrong. Kyoshi destroys Roku. Like, it's not even close. Like, there's a lot of reasons why people rank Roku so low. Even I rank Roku very low. Like, now, I don't even know, like, because honestly, I don't think Roku really had that many feats. Really, like, sure, he fights. Sure, Prime Roku seemed pretty strong, and he defeated Sozin rather easily. But then he fails to defeat a volcano. You know who soloed a freaking volcano? Aang, at 12 years old. Now, people might argue, well, technically Team Avatar was there, so he didn't do it by himself. Well, yes, but in the scene, when a giant, like, wave of lava came at him from, like, surrounding him, one blast of airbending took it out. I'm sorry. Freaking Roku has airbending. He could have did the same thing as Aang. And another thing, he's a freaking waterbender. He was on a freaking island surrounded by water. He could have caused a giant... Oh, wait. No, never mind. That would have been a bad idea, considering that... Oh, wait. Maybe he could. Maybe by the time that everyone evacuated from the island, he could have sent a tsunami to take out the volcano, but then that would have destroyed the houses. Regardless, there were so many different ways that Roku could have defeated him, but to be honest, Roku sucks. I'm sorry if there's people who actually likes Roku as a character. He sucks as an avatar. So yeah. So yeah, Kyoshi basically solos almost every avatar. But I think Prime Aang defeats Kyoshi with a high difficulty. Aang wins. And just to be clear, I'm still talking about Prime Aang, because let's face it, 12-year-old Aang, while still powerful, probably lies at like third or fourth. But Prime Aang, in my opinion, probably defeats all of them. I'm sorry, I don't even know what else to say now. I know I've said that like, what, 3 times now? But I have gone through my arguments of why I think Prime Aang is not only the strongest, but that Prime Aang is actually him at 40, not him at 25. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end my video here. If anyone has any comments, please leave them on the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll be back with my next Avatar debate video. Possibly either Aang versus Korra, or, you know, Zahir versus Taga, whichever one you want. So that's my video, and I'll be back when I make my next video. Thanks. Bye.